Since losing his WWE Championship to Randy Orton at the Hell in a Cell 2020 pay-per-view event, Drew McIntyre has been on a mission to reclaim his title that he had won from the Beast incarnate Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 36. And while Drew McIntyre has certainly looked dominant in the following weeks on Raw after Hell in a Cell, with Drew picking up wins over the likes of The Miz and then The Miz and John Morrison this past week on Raw, if a new backstage rumor proves to be true, the Drew McIntyre we have all come to know and love in WWE will be saying goodbye very soon to fans, with Vince McMahon reportedly planning a shocking storyline twist for Drew McIntyre in the near future that will see Drew completely change his persona and overall look. This new rumor states that Vince McMahon is actually planning for Drew McIntyre to align with The Fiend Bray Wyatt sometime after the upcoming Survivor Series 2020 pay-per-view event. And while we had previously reported that Drew was simply going to be helping The Fiend win the WWE title from Randy Orton, we have been told that Vince is now planning for Drew McIntyre to completely align with The Fiend and become a member of The Fiend's new Wyatt family, something WWE have subtly teased over the past few weeks. Apparently, Vince feels that now that Drew McIntyre is no longer the WWE Champion and won't be winning the title again anytime soon, McMahon thinks Drew McIntyre aligning with The Fiend and Alexa Bliss would be a storyline twist that would keep McIntyre relevant in the coming months. If this rumor does in fact prove to be true, Drew McIntyre would allegedly change up his personality and look completely, and fans will have to say goodbye to the Drew McIntyre of old and welcome a terrifying Fiend-controlled version of McIntyre in late 2020. After Brock Lesnar lost his WWE Championship to Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania 36 this past April, there's no doubt that most wrestling fans were fully aware that Lesnar would likely be taking an extended leave of absence from WWE after losing the title, to spend time with family and take a break from the bright lights of WWE. But at the same time, despite the rumors that have went around regarding Brock Lesnar being done with WWE, most fans were expecting to eventually hear news that Lesnar would be making a comeback or return to WWE either in late 2020 or early 2021 for the road to WrestleMania 37. And according to a new leaked backstage rumor, Brock Lesnar will be returning to WWE very soon, with Lesnar reportedly set to be featured on both Raw and Friday Night SmackDown, with Lesnar reportedly not going to be assigned to any specific brand. Apparently, Vince and Lesnar have already secretly come to terms on a new contract with WWE, and the rumor states that McMahon plans for Brock Lesnar's return feud to be against Keith Lee on Monday Night Raw, although there is certainly a very good possibility that Brock Lesnar will get involved in a major SmackDown storyline after finishing up his rivalry with Keith Lee. We have been told that Vince is in no rush to get a world title on Lesnar after he returns, so for the fans who always complained about Lesnar hogging the spotlight in WWE and essentially holding the WWE or Universal Championship hostage, that doesn't look like it will be the case this time around, at least not immediately. Sami Zayn is the current reigning Intercontinental Champion over on Friday Night SmackDown, but if a new rumor proves to be true, Sami won't be the IC Champion for very much longer, and the superstar that Vince has reportedly planned to end Sami Zayn's reign as the Intercontinental Champ in the near future, perhaps even this month on an episode of Friday Night SmackDown, is none other than Sami's longtime rival and occasional best friend, Kevin Owens, who, as most of you are likely aware, was drafted over to SmackDown during the 2020 WWE Draft. While Kevin Owens' focus for the immediate future will be trying to help Team SmackDown pull off the victory at Survivor Series 2020, WWE are apparently planning to quickly shift the focus after Survivor Series to Kevin Owens challenging Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship, in which Vince reportedly plans for Kevin Owens to win the IC title from Sami Zayn on an episode of SmackDown early next month, or at the very latest the TLC 2020 pay-per-view event, which takes place in mid to late December. One of our sources has mentioned that the plan as of right now will be Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn for WrestleMania 37, so by all means the rivalry between Owens and Sami will be getting started very soon, but it will be a lengthy feud if rumors are true. Roman Reigns has now officially moved on from his feud against his cousin Jey Uso for the Universal Championship following the Hell in a Cell 2020 pay-per-view event, with Jey Uso shockingly aligning with his tribal chief Roman Reigns on last week's episode of SmackDown. And while the bulk majority of the rumors surrounding Roman Reigns right now are regarding Reigns moving on to a big-time feud against The Rock for WrestleMania 37, it appears as though Vince McMahon may be planning to throw fans a bit of a curveball before we get that Rock versus Roman Reigns rivalry for WrestleMania next year. year, and that curveball is none other than Bill Goldberg, who is a superstar that Vince is reportedly planning to have return to WWE on SmackDown very soon. As most of you are likely aware, prior to Roman Reigns pulling out of WrestleMania 36 due to the global situation, WWE were doing a pretty good job building up the scheduled Roman Reigns vs Goldberg Universal title match for the show. But with Reigns taking a leave of absence from WWE, Vince was forced to have Braun Strowman replace Roman Reigns at WrestleMania against Goldberg this year. But according to one of our sources, Vince has not given up on this huge Goldberg vs Roman Reigns match, and a new backstage rumor indicates that Goldberg will be returning to WWE soon to challenge Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. This rumor also states that The Rock, who is one of Bill Goldberg's close friends in real life, may actually make his return to help Goldberg win the Universal title from Roman Reigns, which would be for two reasons: to set in motion The Rock's feud with Roman Reigns next year, while at the same time helping Goldberg win the Universal Championship without Reigns having to lose cleanly. As you would likely expect, Goldberg would not be sticking around in WWE for very long, and we have been told that if this scenario is in fact true, Goldberg would likely lose the Universal title to Roman Reigns in early 2021, with the storyline then shifting to Reigns defending his Universal Championship against The Rock at WrestleMania 37. But nonetheless, fans may have to prepare themselves for yet another Goldberg title reign in the very near future. Something that has been lacking from WWE recently that Vince McMahon reportedly feels has lowered the appeal or interest in Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown is having active general managers for both shows, with some recent notable examples over the past couple of years being Mick Foley or Kurt Angle as the GM of Raw and Paige as the GM of SmackDown. We have been told that Vince feels having these roles, filled by either high-profile superstars or legends, simply adds a bit more intrigue or interest to the shows, and apparently Vince partly blames his sinking TV ratings on not having these roles filled. As of right now, a backstage rumor indicates that very soon, Vince McMahon will be revealing and announcing that Raw and SmackDown will once again have an active general manager for each show, moving forward in late 2020. And according to one of our sources, Vince feels this huge announcement will entice more fans to tune in to Raw and SmackDown as the new GMs take control of the respective brands. While nothing is set in stone as of yet, a new rumor has revealed that Stone Cold Steve Austin is being considered by backstage officials for the role as GM of Monday Night Raw, with AJ Lee apparently being considered for the role of GM of Friday Night SmackDown if she agrees to Vince's contract offer for a big return. While AJ could eventually become an in-ring competitor once again, McMahon thinks that a great way to reintroduce fans to AJ Lee would be for AJ to fill in as a SmackDown general manager.